Well, welcome back to the workshop, and it's been a little while since I gave an update on the electric Cagiva Freccia project. It's been the victim of working on other stuff. I've lost count of the number of times it's been evicted from the bench, but I have just recently made quite a lot of progress, so I'll pull the front lower panels off and we'll have a look at what's been going on. As you can see, we have a completely new motor mounting plate, and I now have the belt drive pulleys installed, the output sprocket, and there's a mounting bracket for the jackshaft bearing support. And if you remember, we had this 3mm steel motor mounting plate which needed some bracing to stiffen it up, and I kept looking at it and changing my mind about how I was going to do that. Using the outer ring of mounting holes on the motor, this lower corner was very close to the mirror of this internal feature, and in the end I wasn't entirely happy with how it was going, so I just started again, used the inner ring of mounting holes, and there is just room to get clearance on the pulley, but this is 10mm thick aluminium plate. Much of the work I'd done on this, getting the pattern at the right angle, just got reused. It didn't take me all that long to machine this up. I didn't do the outer profile on the milling machine. This was just done on my linisher, and I'll probably go back and finish that a little more. The little divot here and these random holes are because I recycled a piece of plate I had, and here's another section of it and it's kind of looking like Swiss cheese, and I just picked the largest area of real estate with the minimum number of holes, and even then I had to flip everything over halfway through in order to get the circular pattern to comfortably miss an existing hole. But I'm really quite pleased with this. I can give the back wheel a spin, and if I take the other side panel off and go around the other side, I should be able to show you the other support. Things are a little bit dark in there, but if I zoom in, you can see I actually had to weld brackets I'd previously removed in order to do the motor trial fitment back in. They're not completely put back in. I'm going to do that when I strip the frame down for repainting. But then there is this extension on the bottom of the bearing housing, and that's very nicely making that whole assembly nice and rigid. And we'll just talk briefly about the chain and sprockets. I've made a new sprocket for the rear. I just buy these in as a pilot board plate wheel, and I've gone to a 1/2-inch pitch industrial chain, British standard chain, which is equivalent in size to a motorcycle 428 chain. Now, a couple of reasons for this. I can get these taper lock bore standard industrial sprockets, and we haven't got the shock loadings on the chain on an electric motorcycle, and these industrial chains, if you look at the side plates, they're quite light, so it makes for a relatively lightweight chain. And going from the 520, which is a 5/8 inch pitch chain, down to a 1/2 inch pitch chain, meant that I could use a 52 tooth rear sprocket, and it's the same diameter as a 41 tooth 520 sprocket, which was fitted to some Freccias, so I know it'll fit within the rear hugger. And you can see here with the hugger dropped roughly in place, it's still got sensible clearance in there. I wanted to avoid what a lot of electric bike conversions end up with, which is a dinner plate sized rear sprocket, which makes guarding the chain a little bit more tricky. And because of the angle of the chain pull, it can have some effect on the rear suspension under load, and that's the other reason I choose the twin stage reduction. These are the proposed battery modules in approximately the layout that I'm going to use, and these are modules from a BMW plug-in hybrid, in this case from a 330e. The 3 Series hybrids use 5 of these modules, and the 500 and 700 series versions use 6. These are 1.5 kilowatt hours each, 12.7 kilos. When used in the BMW, this aluminium bottom plate is cooled by heat exchangers that are incorporated into the vehicle's air conditioning system. They don't seem to chuck out huge amounts of heat under load. That's probably not an issue. Once I've built a frame to support these, and they do have rather nicely convenient mounting. They've just got M6 bolts going through these aluminium end plates, so it's just 4 of those, really easy to bolt to a mounting. But my proposal is, to having built a frame, is to surround it with a box, and I may blow air down the centre underneath and then up these cooling plates, or to have that option if temperature rise in the batteries is an issue. On the end here, each module has a built-in battery management system which does cell voltage monitoring and has a balancing feature, and work done on the Open Inverter forum has reverse engineered the protocols, so there's a possibility I'll be able to reuse these. I need to clarify whether the system works when you're paralleling modules, because these will be run in a 2 series 2 parallel configuration, giving me approximately 120 volts and 50 amp hours. But at the moment I'm really pleased with progress, and hope to be doing another update before very long.